Dominic Hill
is with us today.
in the studio.
We actually know you from high school. You look completely different now.
You know, I was still trying to figure myself out at like 22.
Did you ever figure it out?
Oh, no. Cheers to not figuring it out yet.
Yes.
You have an OnlyFans account. Yeah, you've
I mean,
definitely had that glow up.
Yeah,
Right?
you did have a glow up, and you were always a cutie patootie.
Patootie.
You can be very cutthroat, so have to make sure keeping everything here,
Nice and
everything
tight.
It's like
looking
really
real good.
high standards.
Yeah.
You know what? I can't speak. You got me
Whatever the
so
words.
like distracted.
You got your titties out today.
Please showcase your artistic side.
Artistic side, sexy side.
As somebody who's gay, bisexual, lesbian, transgender, it
Don't point
is
at
real.
me. I'm not lesbian.
Oh shit!
This is Kelly Mizgorski,
And Ryan Frankowski.
and you're listening to
Mocktails are messy. And we have Mr. Dominic
Hill.
Dominic
Dominic
Hill
Hill is with us today.
in the studio. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
On Mocktails Are Messy, we navigate the fine line between mindful sipping and our not-so-distant train wreck past. So I am here to prove that you do not need booze to bring the buzz. Cheers. Now,
Cheers.
Dominic, you introduced us to your version of the espresso martini.
Yeah. Cheers,
Yeah,
Dominic.
cheers.
So I'm excited to try this.
Mm.
Ooh.
You dig it?
Gonna put a little bit of hair on my chest.
I better not get hair on my
Yes.
chest from this.
Yes. So to give
that's
you
strong.
a little insight behind,
Insight.
and I don't know what I can't speak. You got
Whatever
me
the
so
words.
like distracted with the nice chest.
You got your titties out today.
Exactly.
Yes, yes. So right now I have the Pathfinder. It is a patented distilled non-alcoholic spirit. Are you into mocktails? You dabble?
I used to bartend, so I had to like know some of them.
Yes.
But like they didn't come into vogue until like after I stopped bartending. So like, but I did try some back in the day, and like still to this day, I'm like trying to cut back on my drinking. So
You're a performer. You know, you got to keep that body in
Yeah,
check.
I got to keep everything tight.
Yeah. Where did you bartend?
I was at Mad Mike's for like years and years. And so
$5 Margarita Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Me and you lit that up at Penn State.
Oh my gosh, we went crazy. So just to clarify, Dominic Hill, you have an OnlyFans account.
yes,
So you're a performer.
yes.
I love it. And it's a great way to just like showcase your artistic side.
Artistic side, sexy side.
And
Yeah.
what's funny
lots
is
of things.
we actually know you from high school. You look completely different now.
Yes.
Somebody went to the gym hard.
A little bit. Figured out what to do with my hair and, facial hair.
Yeah, you've definitely had that glow up.
Yeah,
Right?
you did have a glow up, and you were always a cutie patootie, but like,
Yes.
damn, like you
Patootie.
really patootie.
Patootie.
I mean, it's just like it's amazing. Like as we get older, do you feel like this is still a stigma? Like men can look a little bit better with age, and like it's not as like I feel bad saying that. Is that like a thing? Like you said that to me.
I don't even think it's a stigma. I think it's a thing. In high school, a lot of boys haven't gone through puberty yet. So then you see them
That's
later
it.
on, like after college, and it's like, whoa, I don't even recognize this person.
Yes.
So
Not to throw shade, but it's like, I feel like a lot of guys, like, they put on the freshman 15 and then they're
Yes.
like, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
And then so then it just kind of spirals from there. And
Right.
then maybe sometime in their
Yeah.
40s, they'll be like, oh shit, like, I need to get my shit together. But like, I feel like so many guys just kind of like give up after a certain point.
yes, you definitely had a glow up. You didn't put on, fat. You put on muscle.
Yeah. Well, the gay world can be very cutthroat. So,
Yes.
It's like
looking
really
real good.
high standards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, I did not know that you were gay in high school. This was not something that we talked about. I mean, I didn't even know what I was. I was still trying to figure myself out at like 22.
Did you ever figure it out?
Oh, no, actually. That's a good question. Oh, fuck. Cheers to not figuring it out yet.
Yes. We're still growing up.
Oh, my God. You're right. You're absolutely right. But like, did you feel like our school was like open-minded? Was it hard to be part of the LGBTQ plus in high school?
I feel like for our generation, it was definitely a little bit different. Like if we had been like a little bit, part of a little bit older generation, like
Yes.
maybe even like 8 to 10 years
Yeah.
later, like earlier, like I probably would have waited, but you know, like I kind of got to that point where I was like, okay, I know what's happening here, and you know, like I can't really hide it. And then so I like kind of just told the people I was close with, and then you know, like I got to that point where like if people asked, I would say yes, but you know, like I didn't, as you know, I didn't just one day start walking down the halls with, you know, like a pride flag around my neck, you know, like blasting Madonna on my phone or anything. But yeah, I just kind of got to that point where I was like, okay, you know, I'm just not going to deny it. And, you know, like people were accepting. And, you know, like I feel like it kind of took away the power from some of the people that were more asshole-ish about it.
Right.
Because, you know, once you control the narrative and, you know, they were like, oh yeah, like you're gay. And once I was able to be like, yeah, I am. And then they would be like,
what do you say after that?
Like pearls clutched. It's like, okay, like shit. And then I did notice that like after I was able to just kind of take that narrative into my own hands, that, you know, people were like, oh shit, now what do I do? I lost my ammunition.
You're like, fuck, it sucks to be you. Like,
Yeah,
now you got
exactly.
nothing to throw at me because I'm just owning it, you know? And that's a really powerful message that you can, like, you know, showcase and share with people coming into 2025. It's still difficult in certain parts of the country and the world to still be feeling accepted as somebody who's gay, bisexual, lesbian, transgender.
Don't
it is
point at
really.
me. I'm not lesbian.
Oh shit! I don't know. I mean, she
points at me
does.
as she says lesbian.
I did kind of see that on my periphery, but like I didn't like fully clock it until you said something.
I mean, she did make out with a couple chicks in college.
That's normal.
I
That's
mean, so did I.
Yeah, exactly. What has kind of guided you to becoming a performer?
You know, I always thought about it, but at the time, you know, was going to the gym, but I didn't yet, you know, like look like this. So I wasn't like fully confident enough to do it. And then also like at the time,
you look
know,
amazing.
yeah,
you.
you look great.
Oh, thanks.
Show it off.
Yeah, we're waiting for a nip slip.
Okay. Oh, shit.
Oh,
what just happened?
Oh my god.
I feel like the mic's blocking me.
That
so
is a
like,
peck
wait,
if
which way do I
I've
have to
ever
go? Yeah.
seen one.
Funny enough, my aunt, who's an accountant, she was doing my taxes. And then so, you know, like I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to explain, you know, like, oh, like that's what this form is, this tax form that I'm getting. And then so like I was a little bit afraid of that because, you know, like doing it and telling your family that you're doing that kind of stuff are two very different things. So, you know, like I held
Does your
off for a
family
while.
know?
No, not that I know of.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I feel like at this point, my family just has kind of accepted that I'm going to be the wild child and do whatever the fuck I want. So,
Amen.
Yeah. So I've just kind of like stopped giving a fuck, but it's still like not a conversation that I you know, want to particularly have.
Right. Do you think, does your aunt know that and maybe just didn't tell
No,
anybody?
because she actually told me this past year that you know, because she retired like a few years ago, but then she was like still doing like our family's taxes and everything. But then she was like, yeah, this is probably like the last year that I'm going to do that. And then so I was like, oh, okay, well, if I have to find my own accountant now anyway, then maybe, you know, this opens up a door for me. But then also in the past like year and a half, you know, aside from kind of getting my shit together in terms of fitness and everything and, you know, feeling confident about myself, you know, I also have had a few like not dating relationships, just like friend relationships that help me to feel, you know, more confident in myself and, you know, more open to the sexier side of myself. And, you know, I'd been thinking about it for years. And then so now that kind of all the confidence pieces were coming together, I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's just do it. And so like the one day I just like sat down, pulled the trigger, and I was like, all right, there's no going back now. It's out there.
Now, this is probably going to be explicit. FYI. What does your content look like on your OnlyFans page, and what is the other one?
Just for Fans.
Just for Fans.
Oh, they're different.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So 2 different platforms.
2 different subscriptions.
Yeah. Because like Just for Fans was like always around, but like a year or 2 ago, you remember when OnlyFans was like, oh, we're going to stop allowing adult content? Like a lot of people.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then like everybody, since that was like 90% of their business and people were like, what the fuck? You know, they eventually like reversed that potential move.
Now, adult content, is that like intercourse?
Yeah.
Okay, but you can still be nude on OnlyFans?
I don't think so.
Oh.
What?
I think that was like, I think any kind of like sexually explicit content was going to be potentially like not allowed on
What?
OnlyFans.
What's the
And
point
then-
of
No
OnlyFans
sense.
now?
Well, it was something like with the
with Twitter.
no, it was something with the credit card companies, like Visa and MasterCard, like because ultimately, you know, everybody when you pay for your subscription through, you know, like the credit card providers, and then so, you know, like Visa and MasterCard, you know, they have their own sets of rules that merchants have to follow. And then so I think it was something like with that where like a law changed, or, you know, like Visa and MasterCard, or, you know, one or the two, were like, oh yeah, we don't really approve of this anymore. And then so OnlyFans was like, okay, we're not going to allow adult content. But then, yeah, everybody kind of revolted. And then so they reversed that decision. But anyway, like, during that time, Just for Fans kind of got a boost because everybody was like, "Oh shit! Like let's move over here because they're still going to allow the content." And then so it's just kind of like now that both are allowing it, it's kind of just like a smart business move for people who are going into this
Diversify.
stuff
Yeah.
because like now a lot of people got rid of their OnlyFans subscriptions and like switched over to Just for Fans. So now it's like, okay, all the people who are only on the one platform, like you can still get them and then like have the other people too. So
do you keep like both content on both systems, or you try to change it, alter it different for
me, it's like 90% ish the same.
Okay.
OnlyFans is still like a little bit prudish. So like some stuff that can be considered a little bit more, you know, fetishy or like hardcore-ish. They're
like
not
fisting.
Yeah, like fisting, piss play, like that. You're like fisting?
I'm like, what is the biggest fetish thing that I can think of? I mean, feet is just so like 2008.
Yeah.
But
And yeah, like even stuff like bondage and stuff like that, you know, like OnlyFans doesn't allow that kind of stuff. But like Just for Fans does. And then so, you know, like there's some things that, you know, can only go on Just for Fans. So I make sure that whenever I'm putting something out there that can only be shown on the one, that, you know, whenever I push it to like Twitter or like Blue Sky or whatever, I'm like, okay, you have to go here. Like, you're not going to see this if you only have my OnlyFans.
right.
Okay, and people have, like, if they want to see your content, they have to have a subscription?
Yeah. So Just for Fans, they allow you to mark certain videos as like free content so that you can kind of like give previews.
Yeah, lure them in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, this is like kind of what you're going to see if you subscribe to me. But then OnlyFans doesn't really allow that.
Now,
So
what is your personality like on there? Are you like really flirty, or are you like macho? Like, what is like your vibe?
I want to know this.
so I'm kind of a little bit all over the place and probably more on
Multiple personalities.
Yeah, I'm probably like a little bit more on the irreverent side, like
No,
especially
what's
like
that?
on
That's a big word.
so just like kind of silly.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh, I like silly.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
silly.
I mean, like whenever I'm advertising on like Twitter and like Blue Sky, I keep it a little bit, you know, flirty or like sexier. And more like to the point, but then for the people who pay, like on the fan pages, you know, I definitely get a little bit more like lighthearted, let them see a little bit more like personality and stuff.
Now, speaking of pay, like on average, like what are you bringing in, and what are the percentages that they're taking?
So I think they take like 20%.
Okay.
Of each like subscription. So
That's pretty standard when you think of
yeah.
an agency or even like a management company.
Yeah. So like if you have your subscription set to $10, like they're taking $2. Like and then so like you're not losing like too much. And some of the people who get bigger, like they do create like their own like websites, but they'll still keep their fan pages, but it's mostly just for other creators to be able to like tag them for like legal consent for the video and everything. But yeah, like to avoid even getting that $2 taken out, some of the people who are a little bit bigger will have like their own website that you can like get stuff from. But you really get out like what you put into it to an extent.
Can you quit your day job?
No, not yet. Not yet, at least.
That's the goal. That's the goal, right?
I don't know. I don't think my brain is wired for like the hustle culture. I like having 100%. A little bit. I like having a little bit of stability.
Yes. Well, and then the pressure is off because then it becomes like not as much fun and passion project.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh my God, this is like over full time. Like overtime.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I do know people who have quit their day jobs. I was actually just talking to one of my friends who did so last night.
Does he live in Pittsburgh?
No. Okay. He just moved to LA. So
typical.
Yeah. But he was like, he was a few other places before, but he's never lived here.
Okay.
Yeah. Like he just quit his day job, over the summer. And like I'm making decent money off of it, but I'm not, like it's not anything that, like I said, I'm going to be quitting my day job over, or, like it's not like
or benefits.
Funding any like.
So you genuinely enjoy doing this.
Yeah, it's definitely work, but it's like very fun.
And it's like fuck you money, where you could like use this as like, hey, I'm gonna take a trip, or I'm gonna buy a new car, or like that Gucci whatever,
Now, where do you shoot your content? Is it like in your bedroom or like?
Yeah.
He's
usually
got a nice flat.
I do.
Oh, okay.
Lawrenceville.
Okay.
Fancy.
Do you live alone?
Bougie. Yeah.
So you just
me and the two cats.
Oh my God.
Which I don't think I had them yet whenever you came over. But
yeah, you got the cats.
Aw. I have two cats also.
Yeah. I just got them in September. So
what are their names?
Bosco and Cora.
Cute.
Bosco.
Yeah.
That is cute. She's got Sabrina and Tabitha.
Sure. He doesn't know any of my animals' names.
I got Sabrina, right?
You did get Sabrina.
Yeah. Bosco and Cora. That's cute.
So, but yeah, it's mostly at my apartment. But then, like if I'm traveling, or, like if there are people like in town that I want to film with, like, hotels, or, like if I'm out of town, either like their place, and like there are a few like studios out there that like they're more like kind of management agencies, or like even just like a brand, like, but like they'll sometimes like have facilities that like even if you're not like under that agency, and like doing a film for them, like you can still like rent out their space, and like film stuff. So I've done like a few of those. So yeah, it just like kind of varies. And then there are like people on there, like who will do like outdoors content too, like, and then so it's just like wherever you're at, like just whip out a phone.
Now, since you're a professional, and maybe you're not comfortable sharing this information, but what is the prep work that goes into filming one of these videos?
Well, so since gay, like like depending on what you're doing, there might be some back end prep that you need to do, which is typical for if you're going to be bottoming. But like usually there's not like too much. It just kind of, other than that, other than maybe set up some tripods and like a ring light or something, depending where you're at, and then making sure that anything like embarrassing in your room, like, or like a family picture or something is not in there. Like, but it's generally like pretty straightforward. I have met a a few people that I filmed with where, you know, like they were like super, super fucking particular about it. And like, you know, the first like half an hour, 40 minutes that I was with them, they were like, okay, like let's move the camera an inch like this way. And like, let's play with this light. And like, oh, like, and I'm just like, oh my God, are we going to like
get it done?
Are we going to get to fucking at some point here? Like, what the hell?
Stop wasting my time.
But yeah, it's generally pretty chill. It's just like point and shoot.
Right. I mean, that makes sense. Are there ever like bloopers that you have to like take out or?
Sometimes.
Do you edit your own footage?
Usually, yeah. Some people are very particular about editing because like, especially like some of the bigger people, because they have like a more curated image and like sometimes they have like logos or like other branding that they want to like throw on like the beginning, end, whatever. And you know, like usually people are pretty chill about being like, oh, hey, you know, if you want to edit your own version of this and put it out, like, you know, that's fine. But I'm like, I don't like having multiple versions of videos like floating out there. So, you know, typically if they're very particular about wanting to edit it, I'll be like, okay, well, here's when I need it by, like, get it to me by then. But, you know, like, I don't do anything too fancy with my editing. I'm just like, okay, like, let's just cut some shit together, like, just cut the good parts together and then, you know, like, put it out. And I mean, like, so far it works. But usually, you know, it's just like some of those longer, like, transitions between, like, positions where we're, like, trying to figure out, okay, like what's the best angle for like this position? You know, like I'll just cut out that little like 2 minutes of setup time in there and then I'll you know, like just move to the next scene. So it's not usually like too extensive, but editing I would definitely say is my least favorite part of it.
I know, it's time consuming. I met this one creator and he was like, I simply do it just to like get girls. Like he was like a straight like OnlyFans talented guy and he was just like, I just do it to find girls and like, you know, link up. And I'm like, is that like part of it for some people? Like to like just get guys or girls, like get like meaning like get laid?
I mean, getting laid in the gay world is very, very easy.
Yeah, you just go grinder,
scruff, sniffies, whatever the fuck you want. Like there's multiple apps for the gay world to, you know, get some dick. However, I will say that you know, like in terms of my sexual bucket list of, you know, like people that I've, you know, seen, like, you know, that I've like jerked off to on my own, like and I'm just like, oh my God, that guy's so hot, like I would like love to fuck them, but like you know, like I've definitely scratched a few names off of there by doing this. So like that's been really fun.
Aspen Solomon.
What was that?
Aspen Solomon?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Is that the one you showed me?
Yes.
Yeah, he's cute.
Yeah.
I'm gonna I think I've heard the name, but I'll have to look that up.
Can't forget that name, Aspen.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, like I do know guys who you know, like this is like what they do. Like this is like their only job, and then so like they'll pretty much only like they don't really have like recreational sex.
Oh, wow.
Because like they're just constantly like filming, you know, like they'll be like traveling to like,
and you gotta have a nut ready.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and
you can't be all dried up.
Yeah. And so, you know, like they'll have guys like lined up, you know, a few times a week that they're gonna film with, and you know, like they pretty much, you know, either only have sex on camera or like with their partners if they have them. Like, and so I mean, I do know people like that.
Yeah. I will say, like, one of the best times I had was somebody that was traveling into town and they were staying downtown at the Industrialist and just like linked up. And I'm like, I had no idea they were an OnlyFans creator. And then after the fact, I was like, oh, that's why you were so good in bed. Or maybe it was just like, you know, the performance. And then I was like, fuck, was I like recorded? I'm like, that doesn't happen, right?
No,
that's like.
However, guys do like think that it does. Like constantly.
Right.
You know, like I'll
just because you're a creator.
yeah, because I mean, like on some of my like gay app profiles, like Grindr and everything, like I have like my Twitter and stuff linked, or like I have mentioned that like I do like content, like if you want to film,
Right.
But then like I never like lead with that because like it is something with like consent. Like yeah, you can have people like fill out consent forms and whatnot, but it's like super annoying, and then unless you have like everything down to a T, you're still not like legally covered. So it's like just like a lot easier to film with people who actually have
yes
OnlyFans or Just for Fans accounts because they've already gone through like the verification steps like needed for like the legal side. So you can just like be like, oh, tag them and then you're good. But I do know some people that still like have other creators like fill out all the consent stuff and everything. But like even though I have that information on my Grindr and whatnot, and I don't like, I'll be talking to people and I won't even mention like filming, but they'll be like, oh yeah, like you're like no filming, or like you're not gonna film me, right? And I'm just like, we have like I never mentioned that like we were like that there was going to be a camera of any sort here, and then but like people do get like very paranoid about it, and then like and I can kind of get it, but at the same time like unless I'm being like, oh yeah, like we should like film something like then
you're not
I don't
see that.
I don't personally see why there's the paranoia, but
do people like want to film and like have a mask on or like a face mask? Like is that even a thing?
Sometimes like there are guys that like are like my regulars that I like hook up with who don't film, but like we have like film stuff together, just like to have for fun, and some of them have been like, oh yeah, like you can post that, just like blur out my face, and then so like I've done that before.
Okay.
So
That's cool.
I've done that and like had them like fill out some consent stuff, and then posted it. And so, like there are situations like that, but
yeah.
Now you're really like putting yourself out there. Have you ever had like a stalker or like a creeper that wouldn't leave you alone?
Knock on wood, not
yet.
Anything like too bad yet. There was this one guy though over the summer, where like he had basically followed my Twitter and everything from the beginning. He didn't have like any pictures or anything like on his profile, like on his Twitter profile, but like he was leaving comments that made it seem like he might like know me. And then so like the one day like I messaged him and I was like, hey, do we know each other like in real life or something? Because like his name was something like Pittsburgh related. So
black and yellow.
Yes, it was Wiz Khalifa.
Oh shit! I knew he might have been fluid.
Yes. But he's like, no, we don't know each other and everything. I was like, okay. And then flash forward a few months later, and I had like posted this video on Twitter of me like working from home, and I like jerked off onto my keyboard, and then
Dominic
and he had like commented on it and tagged the company I was working for at the time, and he was he's like, so and so, get this guy a new keyboard. And I didn't catch it until like I think like 2 hours ish later, and luckily he like had commented that like 2 days after I had stopped working for that company, and then so like luckily there was nothing that was going to happen there, but then like I still like took that down, and then like I took his comment down.
How would he even
and then,
know?
Jeez, that's creepy.
Yeah, and then I like messaged him again. I was like, I thought you didn't know me, A, and like B, like what the fuck made you think that was okay? Like, because this is
he clearly knew you.
Yeah, like even if he didn't know me back whenever I like asked him, he like somehow found out, and then but like I was like, what on earth made you think that was okay? And then he was
trying to be shitty.
Yeah, he read it, and then like because I got the red receipt. on Twitter that he had seen it, and then I waited like an hour or two to see if he had anything to say, and he didn't. And I was like, all right, you're just a piece of shit. So I blocked him.
No, I'm a little caught up
fuck
on the
him.
keyboard thing though. Like, did you mean to jerk off on your keyboard?
Oh yeah.
Okay, but like that's hard to clean up.
It was my personal one. It was only like a $20 keyboard that
Okay.
like barely worked anyway. So I was like,
whatever.
Oh, good.
I was like,
Just
Okay.
I don't
throw
give
it
a fuck.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good content. That's like some like shock value.
Yeah.
I
I
like,
love it.
clean that up.
Yeah, just like, oh, I'm working from home and I got horny. Like, let's go.
That
Like,
is great. Hey, do anything for clout.
yeah, exactly. I think I even had like an unzipped button down or like an unbuttoned like button down shirt on too, and then so it was a good one.
Wow, you
Well,
are a
that's,
little
like,
creative
that's
creator.
not far fetched though. Like people like that are working from home, they just like don't even wear pants to
Oh, yeah.
meetings.
I know.
Right? Like-
it's so crazy. Now, we did want to do OnlyFans individually.
Yeah, you guys had thought about it. You know, like what are your thoughts
Individually,
on
not
things?
together.
Yeah.
We talked about together, almost like a fun, flirty, like drink making
Yes.
type thing.
And like just like naked aprons, you know, and like just being like goofy and stuff. But then I talked to one of these film guy, like for OnlyFans specific. They're like, we don't really think sexy and goofy go together. And we were like, fuck you, dude. Like, that's like what we want. That's our
Yeah.
like MO. But that being said, like, I get it. Like, he is trying to materialize his time. So he's not going to waste time if he doesn't think that it's going to be profitable.
Yeah. That's the thing is like your brand can be like anything that you want it to be. If you know your base and that's something that they would want, fuck him. He knows what his base wants and they
Yeah.
want to see him like then, you know, cool,
Right.
that works for him. But I mean, like if your people want to see you guys like goofy and scantily clad making mocktails, like then you know, like that's what your base wants, you
Mocks
know.
and cocks.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know? Well,
Love it.
Dominic, thank you so much for sharing all
Thank
that
you.
with us. We really appreciate it. If you want to see Dominic, you can follow Dominic on
Twitter/X. I don't like to give Elon clout, so I still call it Twitter.
I forget that it's called X now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twitter, Blue Sky, OnlyFans, Just for Fans, and Tumblr, which I don't really like use too much. On all 5 of those as Dom the Sub XXX. And-
Dom the Sub.
yeah,
I think we
XXX.
can remember
Yeah.
that.
On Instagram, I'm Dom the Sub official because Instagram, you know, you have to be a little bit more innocent.
Yes, you do. Well, thank you for listening to Mocktails, or
Messy.
thank you, Dominic, for coming into the fucking studio.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Yes, high school
Wonderful.
memories,
Hell
right?
yeah. First month on my fan pages, OnlyFans Just for Fans, only $5. So if you wanna check it out,
$4.99.
yep.
Get yourself a deal.
Get a little sip of Dom the Sub
Hell
for
yeah.
$4.99 a month.
Only the 1
Ciao.
month.
Just the first month.
Thank you.
I adore you.
I adore you.
I literally am sticky.